Good morning, folks. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning to all of you there in cyberspace. Good morning, folks. Good to be with all of you this morning. We're only dotting our I's and crossing our T's at this end. Happy to be with all of you. Another week, folks. It's Monday, the 30th of September. It's September 28th. How are you folks doing? A very good morning to each and every one of you. Lynn Finance, Joanna Green, Moses Barlow, we see you there. Chevron and Erwin. Jilly G, we see you too. How are you doing, Jilly G? And Elizabeth Kit, Tessa, Jacqueline, Argyle. Good to have all of you there with us. Tessa and Erwin, Chevron, Marva. Good to have all of you on the live this morning. Great to see all of you here with us. Hope you guys have had a good weekend. I had a fantastic weekend. A great weekend with the other half, the better half. Arguably, it's debatable. The better half. I had a fantastic weekend, folks. And I'm happy to be here with you. It's the end of September. Believe it or not, tomorrow is the first day of October. Today is the 30th. I have to double check, because in my mind, I'm still thinking 31 days of September. And when I checked it, I realized I was wrong. All this time. Marjorie Babu Ram, good to have you here. And Evelina Whittaker. Camille McKenzie, good to have you on the live too. And Sabrina Blue and Lyndon Gale and Marilyn Jacobs. All you fantastic folks. Hope you guys have had a great weekend too. How was your weekend? What did you do for this weekend we've had? What did you do this weekend, folks? Carmen Bailey and Yvette Wolford. I trust that you guys are great and well, wherever you're joining us from. I am a little more settled, folks. We've been talking about a long time about procuring a generator so we're not at the women fancies of GPL and the power ship and the birds that eat the wires. And I've settled my mind on how we're going to move forward here, credible sources and FYI in the ring and so on. And we're going to share it with you guys a little later on. But I'm settling my mind now how we're going to do it. Yep, I feel at ease how we're going to do it. And I'm going to solicit your support to help us to go down the road in this regard, folks. So listen out for that. Listen out for that in very, very short order. I'm going to ask you guys to come on board and partner with us and help us to achieve this milestone so that we're not at the women fans, as we said, of GPL. So that's as we start this morning. Good to see all of you here. How was your weekend, Asha and Sabrina and Ingrid and Carmen, Yvonne Ramasar, Simona Williams? How are you guys doing? How was your morning? We hope that you guys are good and well. The many places you guys are joining us from. A very good morning to all of you. And we're going to have to go to it, folks. The first 15 as we start this morning. The first 15. You know what? We're going to get the hard stuff out of the way. We are going to get the hard stuff out of the way, folks. It's another Monday, which means that Book News has that column, how the cost of living, treating folks. We begin in the 592. Coming to where you are. Your neck of the woods. That's where we are. Good morning to all of you. And that's where we started this morning. It's 95th iteration of this column, this article, how the cost of living affecting people. And they're on the East Coast this week at a place called Nottingzul. Now, when I was at high school, the early years at high school, and I heard about this place that, you always want to know where your friends live and so on. I had some friends from Nottingzul. I said this was like the edge of the country. This was a distant land for me. Nottingzul. How do these places get these names? How? Well, Sabbath News took its reporters to Nottingzul to find out how the cost of living affecting the people there. Yep. How the cost of living affecting you? I got this little black tea here trying this morning. Are we done? Edward, how the cost of living treating you? Sabrina Blue, some faring better than others. Wayne Brown, candidate in Energy, candidate far past Nottingzul. She in the other Nothing Zul. Candy's way up on the quarantine. Are you still there, Candy, or are you in Trinidad? Or in New York or China? You're in France. Where are you, Candy? Yvette Eastman, Wayne Brown. We know everybody business. Everybody. We know Candy, Marky, the whole family. The sister with the birthday, everything. We know the whole thing. Good to have all of you. Magnell Barrow, good to see you on the live. Magnell and Yvette Eastman and Dan Mitchell, Dolly Anderson, good to have you there. Tracy Clark, great to have you there. Tracy Clark as well. And Leonard Douglas, great to have you there. Folks, I'm excited to get into this other phase of kind of the program running on its own power. And just to give you all a hint, we kind of changed our mind on a generator with noise and gasoline and all that, and we decided we're gonna go solar. We decided we're gonna go solar at this end. So we're gonna have a quiet switchover should there be any blackouts. But as I said, I'm gonna be telling you more about that project. We didn't have a project this year for summer. I was trying not to tax y'all, but I'm gonna tax y'all now. We can tax them. So we'll tell you all a little bit more about that. So whether rain or shine, we are going to be on. None of the whims and fancy of GPL. We can't do that. We can't do it. Now, GPL needs some competition in this place. That's number one. But that's another story, folks. We're looking forward to November. I think November, if my mind is not mistaken, it's going to be 4 years. Where does the time go, Terrence Dean, since we're out here talking to you folks? 4 years. 4 years. Yeah. I'm happy I didn't rush in. Urban Don says solar sounds great. Yeah, I'm happy we didn't rush into it. I'm happy on that front. And now that I've had some time to settle, that's how I like to operate sometimes. Just don't rush. Let the thing settle, and then, we're looking at some options, and I think I kind of settled in my mind who we want to go with, the company we want to go with to help us to procure the batteries and the switchover instruments and the panels and all of that. And so we don't have to worry about buying gasoline and all that kind of stuff, and the noise and the other tenants and the neighbors, and we don't have to worry about the cost of living after that. But cost of living affecting a lot of folks. As I said, Kaito News was up on the East Coast at Nothing Zul, and they spoke with a number of residents and folks. They've only been talking about the escalating cost of living and the impact of that on their lives, and how many of them reported on the significant increases in the price of staple items, rice, sugar, basic groceries, making it hard for them to save and cover their daily expenses. Yeah, folks got it rough. Let me tell y'all something. Hold on. Don and Marlene, Linton and Deirdre, I've tried to be as transparent with y'all, as I can. The difference with me and some folks on the streets right now is only the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ that makes a difference in my life. I'm certain it's the same for some of you, or whoever you perceive the Creator to be. That's the only difference. At least for me, the man in the street is only Father holding back the forces. So when the folks at Nothing Zul start talking about how the increases and significant increases, the basic prices of staple items affecting them, I said right here with y'all, you go to the shop this week with your 50 US, your 100 US, and next week you can't get the same items, at least the same quantity. You can't get it. And as the folks in Nothing Zul told Sabbath News, it's making it harder for them to save and cover the daily expenses. Right. When it was Sabbath News talking with self-employed individuals, pensioners, part-time workers, they all highlighted the struggles to make ends meet as their income remains stagnant while prices blooming, surging. Everybody calling for government intervention, price control, subsidies on food items, increase salaries to alleviate the financial strain on families. But them boys listening? Them boys are listening. Let me take a couple of them. A couple of them for you. Tulsiram Mahandas. Tulsiram Mahandas, self-employed. You see, everybody knows the cost of living going up every day. Right? The cost of living going up every day. The cost of items not going down. Tulsiram Mahandas. Notting Zul, that's the area up on the East Coast. He said when the cost of something goes up, it doesn't come back down. Not to me now, Mahandas. It doesn't come back down. They can cut the excise tax, the fuel tax. The business sector ain't pulling down no prices. It's nice time for the business owners, at least for Chinese supermarkets. We were coming down from Babis last evening. Pitch my son by his the one who's with us, pitch him by his grandmother over the weekend, and mommy and I had some us time, you know. Don't do it. Don't do it. Pitch him by. So we were coming down from Babis last evening, and we saw the proliferation of the Chinese supermarket. Huge. They clearly know something the rest of us don't know. So Mohandas talking about how the prices go up, but they don't come down back. Right? He said the cost of living is affecting my mother and I because I do body work. And I earn the same amount of money every day as the cost of things keep going up every day. That's what Mohandas says. For example, recently I purchased a 10 kg Caribbean rice for mom at the supermarket. I paid $2,300 in that week. When I return to the store the next week, it's $2,700. Also, a couple of weeks ago, I bought a 2-liter bottle drink for $5.20 at some shops in the area. Now the drink is $5.80. Mohandas, self-employed, got a body workshop. Could you imagine people who got a little income like that, who done a minimum wage? How they coping? Marlon Thomas, Anthony Paris Sr., Linton Ben, how they coping? I know some of y'all would balk at that. People working whole month. Right? They get a $250 US, $350, 70,000. $350 US, whole month. Slaving out, $350 US. That's how the cost of living affecting people. Navita Narayan, 29-year-old vendor, said the cost of living is really hard sometimes for me because I have a son and sometimes I have to pay transportation costs for him to go to school. Then I have to buy things he needs for school. Also, I have to buy grocery items and pay bills. Navita says, the cost of groceries is high. It's high, she said, but my husband and I try to cope with the high cost. I sell egg balls. Right? I wonder if she's a 3 million lady. I sell egg balls and other items on the road while my husband does carpentry work for a living. We both join our money together to cover the daily expenses. That sounds like my household. We both join the money together and cover the expenses. All the expenses. For example, she says, a demonstration of how the cost of living has gone up. A cost for a bag of sugar from the supermarket in the area was $12,000. It's $13,000 now. Right, sorry, she said it was, hold on. She said it was 12 to 13,000. Now it's 15,000. My bad. It was 12, 13,000. Now the bag of sugar is 15,000. A couple months back, 10 kg rice is 2,200. It's 2,300. You don't see what's happening here? She said, I don't know how the cost of living can be reduced. I'm not the economist. I don't know how. Abdul Khan, final one I'll give you. I'll intend to give you all 3. Right? Sabak News got about 20. We took out 6. Thank you, Sabak News. Abdul Khan, a pensioner. Here, Abdul. Abdul said the cost of living terrible. Abdul said the cost of living terrible because it affects everyone a lot, not just me. The pension we're receiving is not sufficient to cover our daily expenses. Jagdir is Abdul Khan. Irfan is Abdul. Ashni Singh. Georgia Balls, that's Abdul. The cost of food items is high. We have to cope somehow with the high cost of living, Abdul says. Millions of dollars going into the Ministry of Health, but still I have to buy my tablets outside, which is costly. Pim. Frank, your name getting called. And it's not even millions. Abdul, is billions. Billions going into health. But I got to buy my tablets outside. They want to be able to say they build 50 hospitals. But Abdul got to buy his tablets outside. Who vex? He said it's costly to do that. Panadol, a lot of cheap medications the hospitals have in stock, but they don't have the ones that are costly. Abdul smart. The cheap ones they got, but the expensive ones, I gotta go outside. Right? I gotta go outside. Abdul sees get a little subsidy on light. He get a little subsidy on water. 30,000 subsidy on the light bill. 700 subsidy on the water. But he said dissatisfied with my NIS. Abdul says I'm dissatisfied with my NIS. Don Sullivan, there's Albert. It's not they said they're raising NIS to 40,000, 50,000, 70,000. What was the campaign promise? Linton Ben. You got folks like Abdul dissatisfied with the cost of living. Navita Ramnarayan dissatisfied with the cost of living. Right? Tulsiram Mohandas dissatisfied with the cost of living. You got Ivadni Kesoon, Makan, Parsuram, Ann Kesoon dissatisfied with the cost of living. Bisham, Nandan, Indira Kesoon dissatisfied with the cost of living. And Jagdir will tell you they don't fulfill all the campaign promises. Was that to drive up the cost of living? There's Albert. He said they finished. They have accomplished everything in the manifesto. It's true. Terence, Irwin Don, Margaret Nelson. Margaret one, how people can live in 40,000. How people can live in $200 is a miracle. God don't come to Ghana, he lives here, he's Guyanese. Miracles every day in this country, Rudy Hines. Gwen Anderson, they promise we can carry the pension to 40,000. That promise for friends, family, and favorites. Probably for friends, family, and favorites. That's how the cost of living affecting some folks. That's how it affecting some folks. Yep. While that's happening over the weekend, we saw a frenetic search by the authorities in Buxton for a gentleman they said is missing. A frenetic search. They said Joshua David is alleged to have been abducted on September 26th. The police are currently conducting a search for him in Buxton Backlands. But despite using dogs and spending hours combing the area, there has been no success so far. The search will continue. I thought the police force could put out all these drones. I see they got drones. Now is the time to put the drones action. I'm surprised. It's dogs only. All right. I'm surprised it's dogs only. You know them dogs wouldn't survive in Springfield. The dogs wouldn't survive in Springfield when they're eating the dogs and the cats. So they took the dogs to Buxton. Nothing in doing as yet. So the search will continue. And they said this abduction is related to that, according to them, related to that shooting incident in Durban Street a couple of weeks ago, the drive-by shooting. I think claimed 2 lives. It's linked to that. We can talk about that some more later on, but there's big search in Buxton over the weekend. We were going up, I saw roadblocks and this and that and number of things. The Integrity Commission, former Auditor General Anand Gulsaran, in his Accountability Watch, I think it is, column, he urges the Ghana Integrity Commission to go beyond simply submitting financial reports of public servants and politicians, but instead investigate, listen to this, if their declarations match their lavish lifestyles. If their declarations match their lavish, I don't know when they pay people in my bank account, they must say sorry for me, there's one left something. They must be one left something. I think the former Auditor General is right, Magnell. Some little lifestyles. And these folks, like the fellow who used to work at the office, the president, I think it is, who had 16 billion across several accounts. He don't want to tell that he saved. He used to sell phone cards. They don't want to tell you they sell phone cards. One high-ranking member of the government who lives in Region 3, he just built a house. Since he come to government, the house on about 20 acres. And he got the mules. The house on about 20 acres. He got golf cart from the front door to the kitchen. The golf cart gonna drive him. Soon, since they come to power, they have built some houses. My God. Just off the Eccles, the Heroes Highway, the new extension. I official from GWI. You ever see the mansion he put down there? Right? They didn't build nothing out to power. When prices are low, when the cost of living, when the what do you call it? The inflation rate was 0.9. They didn't building anything. Inflation at 15%, 25%. Cost of living sky high, and them men building the biggest houses. They say we the selling phone card in opposition. We the selling phone card. A former minister of housing. He built a big mansion, buy a whole set of land cheap. When people went in power, built a big mansion. He said he saved. He just a minister of housing. Big hell of a mansion. He said he saved. That's what he said. He saved. He saved. Look, things they like to talk about Burnham. Look and see. Ministers in Burnham government, what big real estate they own. If think about it. Guyanese everywhere. Rhonda Gordon, Enid Dexter, Dolly. Think about it. These rigors that they like to say the apnos are, and all manner of things. If we had taken land the way they thief land, the way they thief the money in this country, they would have nothing to get. They would not have had anything to get. Huge swaths of land. Take a drive up Linden. See what's happening to the Linden Suicide Highway. Somebody should have been able to say one of the iconic features of the Linden Suicide Highway is are those trees. One of the iconic features. And yes, we might give out land, but we're going to preserve 4 or 5 acres to the road, 10, 15 acres to the road. Go ahead back and build. All of those trees, the drive to Linden is not what it used to be. I used to love that drive to Linden. Just endless trees and quietude and the birds and so on. Them boys taking all them trees to put house and brick factory and sawmill, and that whole highway is losing that kind of feature. Then like Sealand, the integrity, the former the general says, investigate the declarations. Don't just receive declarations. Investigate how their declarations match their lavish lifestyles. The ordinary civil servant, you gotta save to make the application for the US visa. That's one savings. And then forget one vacation, you might save in 3 years. 3 years to make one vacation. And the family can chip in with party ticket money, still a little spending money. Now these boys, when they're flying, is the maid, the sweet lady, everybody going. Now these boys. And Gulshan said, investigate not only the declarations, but how they come into their lavish lifestyles like the Ambanis. Gulshan also emphasized the importance of accurately reporting assets as mandated by law to identify conflict of interest and to combat corruption. Of course, them boys ain't going down the line. Integrity Commission got to get the nod from Jack Joe before they go down the line. Goldstrand also highlights the guidelines set by the Transparency International, which stress the need for effective monitoring and enforcement of asset declarations. So we got lots more work to do in this area. And we know it's plenty bribes, plenty corruptionism passed in this country. So a fantastic article there by Sabak News reporting on some of what Goldstrand wrote about previously, and we can circle back to some other things that Goldstrand talked about too, talking about which. I think in today's newspaper, he makes the nexus to the mayor of, what's that man's name? The mayor of New York, Eric Adams. Eric Williams is Trinidad's former prime minister, the late great. New York's mayor, Eric Adams, facing criminal charges over allegations of bribery and illegal campaign contribution involving foreign nationals. He also references Jamaica Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who's under scrutiny for possible financial irregularities in his assets declarations. Possible financial irregularities. Right? And then he makes the point, again, that Transparency International emphasizes the importance of accountability and effective monitoring to combat corruption. And again, saying that the Integrity Commission is urged to enhance its examination of public officials' financial declaration beyond mere compliance checks. You're going to check them boys against the lavish lifestyle. But you know why what is happening in New York could happen? Quasi James? Quasi, you know why. You know why what's happening in Jamaica could happen with the Integrity Commission? You know why Sheena and Marlon? Pialika? Because those bodies are independent. In Guyana, they have a facade of independence. But the PPP pack them with the loyalists. They pack these entities with the loyalists. How are they going to be independent? The Integrity Commission in those places are staffed by competent People, this is not friends, family, and favorites. Who get no kickbacks, money on the table, and so on. These people are professional, highly professional people. That's why what's happening in New York and happening in New York, despite Eric Adams being the mayor. That's why what's happening in Jamaica would happen there, in spite of Holness being the prime minister there. These bodies act independently. And as Sheila Boychild says, the systems are working as they should. But them boys, they don't like systems. Them boys don't like systems. That is the problem we have here. Systems do not work. That's why only when Irfan turn up in a village, then you might get a little water. Then you might get a little light, a lamppost going straighten up. You can get a bridge fix. You might get a pothole mended. Because systems do not work independently. The police force got to wait from a nod upstairs to see who gets investigated and who is set free. The DPP is no different. Integrity Commission, you name the commission, same story. That's why they don't even want to bring the Petroleum Commission, because they don't like these bodies functioning independently. And they do everything to stagnate, to marginalize, to ostracize, to direct them. That's the wickedness in this country. That's the wickedness in this country. They tell you that we're going to circle back to this story about the manhunt in Buxton that is linked to that drive-by shooting. 5 men are wanted in connection with Joshua David. Joshua David, known as Bricks. And they are linked to that drive-by shooting that killed 2 and injured 5 others. Police have issued a wanted bulletin, but the men are asking for information as to their whereabouts. 5 men, young men, turned to a life of crime. It's so sad. But if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Don't do the crime. We have more information on that, folks. We're going to let you guys know. UG, my alma mater, I had some great years at UG. Some fantastic years being involved in academic life and your extracurricular activities, being involved in the student body. You go in the student office there should be a photograph of me. Usually in the UGSS president's office, all the past presidents, you can see Ganesh, my photograph there. You can see some, I think we had some great folks. Had some great presidents at UG. So my alma mater, they said they launched a pioneering publication last week, over the weekend. This is post-secondary chemistry education in developing countries, advancing diversity in pedagogy and practice, or pedagogy and practice. That's a mouthful as a title. That's a very academic title. And it has been authored by senior academics Dr. Don Fox, Madiba Uzi, and Dr. Jacqueline Murray. They are the co-authors of this seminal work, and it was published by Routledge Press. It aims to transform chemistry education in developing countries, they say, by introducing what is called the 3 Ps approach. It's not prawns, peas, and so on. Right? It promotes diversity in pedagogy, strategic curriculum activities, and inclusivity both in students and teachers. This is according to the University of Guyana, and the Vice Chancellor said praised the book's contribution to research and its potential to impact STEM education. Yeah, folks who got the brain, the top side, as we see here in the vernacular. Those who got the top side to study chemistry, I give you all that. I have a nephew who studied chemistry at UG. I give him that. I give you, Jesus Christ. Chemistry and math. Respect and manners. Right? Respect and manners. Chemistry and math, so on. They say those who can't do laws do medicine, so on. That's how we used to tease our friends in the health sciences. You know, those who can do laws do health and medicine. So. Respect to those persons who study medicine too, and congrats to these fantastic academics who put a mind to it and have produced this book. Post-secondary chemistry education in developing country. This is available on Amazon and so on. So congrats, Dr. Don Fox, Madiba Uzi, and Dr. Jacqueline Murray for putting this seminal work together. According to the University of Ghana, again, it's available via Amazon and Barnes and Noble. Barnes and Noble used to be my place, you know. Barnes and Noble used to be my jam. Then Amazon come and take over. Amazon come and take over. Folks, in the not too distant future, I'm going to be sharing some of the books that I love to read on Audibles. You know, I don't get the time now to sit down with the book. I love the physical book. I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it. I don't have the time now to do it. Sit down and go through that book the way I want to. You know, interrogate. So I listen to the books now by Audibles, and I'm going to be sharing some of the books that I'm listening to and have listened to for your benefit, and you can choose whether you want to purchase them by Audible. And I find it, I've improved on my reading in that regard. You know, I was asking my wife over the weekend, I was looking at my glasses and I said, these things now are plastic. Why we still call them glasses? Maybe we should call them plastics now. Right? And so we've challenged each other. We can come up with a name. What we're going to call rename glasses. Because they're no longer glasses. When last you got a spectacles made of glass. So, I mean, the plastic is engineered to help you see better nonetheless, and durable and all that. And God knows I'm happy it's plastic, because about the time my glasses fall out, since I got them, I would have had to replace them 30 times. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy. So what name should we call these things? Because they're no longer made of glass. Why are we telling ourselves these lies? You know? But now it's plastics. It's the plastics. So they're available on Amazon. They're available on Barnes and Noble as well. And folks, one of the true joys in my life is going into a bookstore on my own time, my own leisure. You know, and just sifting around, going through them eyes, looking at different books and, you know, how they're laid out and sorted and so on. That's one of the true pleasures. Buying a couple of books. Right now, I used to be on Kindle. Kindles don't have the audiobooks so readily now, so I gone fully almost over to Audibles now. That being said, right? Naomi says I think it's only Guyanese ever called it glasses. Yeah, y'all what do you call it up north? Spectacles? What do you call it? Pierre Lecoq said glass sticks. Like that. Glass sticks. Yeah, a combination of glasses and plastics. Glass sticks. Yeah. Marvin Kisoon says eyewear. No plastic, no glasses. Eyewear. Yeah. We need something truly Guyanese that is not glasses, because it's not glasses. Eyewear. I love that. Marlon says spectacles. Right? Jilly G says still glasses in the USA. It's still glasses. So usually launch this fantastic books. And then a letter writer talked about, you know, we were talking just now about what's happening in the school system and so on. One letter writer talked about while we're building schools, right? New plans announced for the school system, including cheerleading squads and marching bands. Look how north we get in now. Cheerleading squads and marching band. One letter writer in this morning's paper, Jamal Changli, says, why not let's aim for the basics? Basic health and safety. Right? Basic health and safety needs like fire safety, clean water, working toilets, janitorial supplies not being addressed. Why don't we go for the low-hanging fruits? You're talking about cheerleading squads and marching bands. Why don't we fix some of the problems we have in the school system? Jamal Changli says. The lack of these basic essentials can greatly impact the focus and performance of students and teachers. Isn't that piece of wisdom there? Isn't that piece of wisdom there? Naomi says, running water. Yeah. Walking water, running water, standstill water. Right? So hold on, prayer, hold on. That's what Jamal said. Jamil rather. Jamil Changli. Before we head off to the marching squads and the cheerleading band, or the cheerleading squads and the marching band, let's pick the low-hanging fruits. Fire safety, clean water, working toilets, janitorial supplies, improved teachers' pay. Over to you, Priya. Remember, send me prayers, so don't tag me on Facebook. Jamil Changli, read Sabbath News. All right, other newspapers. Jamil Changli. And look, you remember that task force they set up to check out safety at the creeks since the young ladies died at the Enchantment Creek? That name still rubs me the wrong way. Enchantment Creek. Young lady died on her birthday, herself and her cousin. At Enchantment Creek. Remember, task force was set up. Government officials and representatives from different agencies. Well, they visited several of these creeks. And several environmental concerns were noted. Pollution, illegal mining, deforestation, which they say negatively impacting the health of the creeks and the environment. Pollution, illegal mining, deforestation. Those trees along the Linden Highway must serve a purpose. I told you, people are just cutting down the trees wantonly because somebody gave them a lease or sell them a parcel of land. And we say we're good stewards of the environment. If you're cutting down 65 miles of trees, I find something wrong with that. Even if it's 5 miles, something wrong with that. But them boys don't like see land. Again, at these creeks, pollution, illegal mining, deforestation. Yeah. No, try with that. Try with that. Over to y'all. Government of Guyana, over to y'all. So, we thought it was interesting because remember, we've been talking about the carnage on the roads and waterways. Boat accidents, people drowning, all that carnage. Maybe we need one of these task force for traffic safety. Right? You need a task force for speedboat operations and traffic safety. Over the weekend, a 63-year-old cyclist was fatally struck by a motor car, they said, on the number 28 Village Public Road. 63-year-old Stanford Benjamin. Thoughts and prayers with his family. Stanford Benjamin. 63-year-old pensioner. So the driver was one Malcolm Nurse. My God. Father, help us in this country. Number 28. That's the village my wife is from. She's born there, lived her whole life at Yeovil, but she's number 28. The driver claims that Benjamin swerved unexpectedly, the cyclist swerved unexpectedly, causing a collision. He was taken to the hospital, later succumbed to his injuries. Yeah. Every day in this country, every day, carnage on the roads and waterways. We're going to run you guys through some of the others and leave you with some homework. Glenn Lal, presidential candidate, calling for a nationwide protest into the mismanagement of resources in this country. Right? Nationwide protest. Politicians, he says, improperly managing the country's wealth and resources. He's calling for a month-long protest where citizens will turn off the lights for 5 minutes every night from 7 p.m. You don't get blackout whole day. You might barely get back light. You must turn it off again. I ain't too sure, but best wishes, Uncle Glenn. Best wishes. Turn off your light every night. 7 p.m. for 5 minutes. We're protesting it different now, you know. Lights out protests. Lights out. He says the government subsidies meant to ease the burden on citizens are benefiting foreign companies, including Exxon, who are already profiting from Guyana's resources. He calls for an end to giveaways and demands that every citizen benefits, every Guyanese benefits from the country's wealth. Lights out. I can turn off mail for 5 minutes if I don't have blackout during the day. I can drive. 5 minutes, lights out. It's just the lights, or is the whole house? You got to turn off back the fridge and stuff. I'm gonna find out. Lights out, 5 minutes from 7 p.m. Protesting the mismanagement of the country's resources. Another letter writer commenting today on Ramson. The fact that Ramson has not apologized as yet. Another letter writer. I'm gonna leave that one for your homework. Right. Or rather, I think this was Starbucks News editorial over the weekend, saying that while the Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport has a visible role in the sports component of his portfolio, he's less involved in culture, except for organizing public events. Less involved in culture. That's something he could focus on a little bit more. Music and dance and the museums, other related issues. But the editorial says, this I think is yesterday's 7th News editorial says, in these areas, silence from Ramson. See, he got a bit of cultural education in the blood. None. As a matter of fact, the editorial says yesterday, the only significant statement on culture by the PPP, the only significant statement on culture has come from Irfan Ali, who promised a new art gallery. Promised a new art gallery. And then you bring in the Borough School of Art incidents. And there's another story. Jack Rio intervening, saying that it was badly handled and uncalled for, the way things deteriorated. The editorial ends by saying, the incident raises the larger question about the ministry's handling of culture and the need for a more serious approach to this portfolio. Right? And talking about that, you got two Guyanese musicians taking One Guyana, One Communication. Two Guyanese musicians taking One Communication to court in the US. This is Jackie Hanover, Jackie Jacks, her stage name. Ivan, or Ivan Henry, his given name. They want a meeting with Charles Ramson, seeking discussions on the reforming of Guyana's copyright laws. I hope Ramson don't say this not the face that the government, the image the government want to put out there. I hope he don't throw cold water on their overtures. Right? They want to meet with him, Jackie Jackson, Ivan Harry, and talk a little bit about culture, music, and so on. Over to you. Over to you, Ramson. Over to you. Finally, folks, finally, I saw a columnist who could make it in politics. He didn't have the testicular fortitude to make it in politics. No, he writes critical of the party he once belonged to. He's saying that Irfan Ali will become the most consequential president Ghana has ever had. Most consequential. He couldn't make it in politics. Now he's writing about politics. He went to study for PhD. He couldn't make it in either. Now he's writing about PhDs. Couldn't make it there. He said, couldn't make it, man. He said, Irfan now going to be one of the most consequential presidents. Right? I was happy when I looked at the bottom of the article, the bottom of the column, and I saw a disclaimer. These views do not represent that of the Guyana Chronicle, but it's solely that of the author. He said, it's okay then. I said, okay then. These views do not represent that of the Guyana Chronicle, this organization, but are solely those of the author. Irfan will be the most consequential president. These views do not represent. There's a big disclaimer at the bottom of the article. Yeah. yeah. Okay then. Folks, we're going to leave it there this morning. We're 10 after 9. Good to have had so many of you on the live this morning. Everett Small and Candy Lillian. Great to have had you in Neon Harding and P. Alicock. Enid Elliott, we see you there. Tommy Gibbs. How has the week started for you folks? Hope you guys are off. You're off to a running start. You are off to a running start. Candy, Enid, and Neon, Tommy. Hope you guys had a fantastic weekend, and I hope the week is going to be even more grand. Right? We're heading into a new week. Tomorrow is the first day of October. Folks, prepare for your week. Plan for it. Don't just amble along and saunter about. Plan for your week. Take on this new month with gusto. We're heading into that season, folks. Christmas. As soon as we're out to Christmas, election is on us. Election is on us. You know, lots of revelations, lots of excitement to come. We can be here with you folks. We ain't going no place. At least not yet. At least not yet. Have a fantastic rest of the day, folks. We're going to see you guys right back here on the next one. Right back here on the next one. Rudy Hines and Leon Blair. Good to have you on the live this morning. Auntie Sandra Hanover, Naomi Drucker, good to see you on the live. Right? Naomi said, I don't plan, I just live. Sometimes it's like that. You know, you can't always be scripted. Sometimes you got to be spontaneous. Rhonda Gordon and Diane and Jason Benjamin. We see you there, Jason. We see you there. We're going to see you guys in the next one. That's our time this morning, and that's our program. Stay safe, guys, and have a fantastic